Payton Gendron will do life in prison. Unlike the case with Rittenhouse, Gendron drove 200 miles with the intent of murdering black people, even wrote a dossier about it. But it seems as if that someone is going to try to get him as less time as possible, saying that, oh, he wasn't to blame. It was the TV shows, Tucker Carlson, everyone else except for Payton. Payton planned the attacks, documented it, and he carried it out. It should be a case closed. But I understand that we have to go through these preliminaries of a trial, which is, in this case, wasting taxpayers' money. They said that in June of 2021, they brought him in for a psychiatric evaluation for making those threats. He was underage then. Why was he allowed to get a gun knowing that he had those feelings of wanting to commit murder and suicide? The state police dropped the ball. The feds dropped the ball. And you ask yourself why? Because there hadn't been any other person that had made those type of threats at school. They would have kept an eye on you. It's no surprise of what happened in 9/11 because you had information about those guys, knowing that they were suspected terrorists. You allowed them to roam freely around America and eventually crash those planes into the World Trade Center. The same with this guy here. You allowed this guy to purchase a firearm, AR-15, knowing that he wanted to murder people. And I'm wondering about his parents. Why would they allow him to get an AR-15 knowing that he has these type of tendencies to murder people? There are reports that his parents are devastated. Well, you should be. Look at what you have raised. Look at what you have allowed your son to do. Payton has been researching this type of stuff since 2019. They are saying that Gendron made statements indicating that he wanted to do a shooting, either at a graduation ceremony or something after. And it said that after making the threat, Gendron went to a local hospital. He was there for about a day and a half, evaluated, and then released. I mean, what was written in the doctor's report after that meeting? Oh, there was nothing wrong with the guy. He's just a kid. He didn't mean it. He was just joshing. Less than a year later, he drives 200 miles to kill black people. Amazing how there's always a lapse in judgment and errors when it comes to dealing with black people and our safety from these racists. What they're trying to say is, since no one made any complaints, that they just let that little incident with him threatening to kill people just ride on by. Black people get shot all the time with no weapons, just on an assumption. Here's what they said when the suspect was confronted by police. The suspected shooter took off some of his tactical gear and surrendered. Now, if you didn't shot up a bunch of people and you black, and you don't do nothing but be still, you reach up to do anything, you're going to get shot and killed. And it's just amazing how these racist white people can shoot up, kill up, I don't care how many people. And the cops are always able to talk them down to surrender. It's amazing. Now you have witnesses saying that they saw the guy the day before the shooting. People just don't follow their first minds. I mean, this one person at the store said they asked the guy to leave the day before. But if you ask him to leave the day before and he shows up to that store again, I think the authorities should have been called. You know, I hate that it takes situations such as this for people to wake up. And maybe from now on, when you see these people that are suspects, that you will take the appropriate action of calling the authorities. Let them check him out. Because somebody, I think I read it, said that the day before, he was sitting outside the store with these backpacks or whatever. They thought he was homeless. Well, somebody should have called the cops. Because if it had been a black person standing outside with backpacks, they would have called the cops and he would have been searched. Maybe you would have found the guns then and prevented this tragedy. And what's so cold about it, they said that he had plans to shoot more black people after this shooting. In this article, it states that the suspect planned to continue a shooting rampage beyond the Tops supermarket, saying there was some documentation alleging that he planned to target another large superstore. So all of this pretend as if you don't know what to charge him with. Is he crazy? Was he influenced by someone else? No. He may have been influenced by someone else, but he made the decision to carry it out. It goes on to say that the alleged shooter made it known he was targeting the black community. Hey, there it is. This shouldn't take long. This should be a long trial lasting 2 or 3 years. I don't care how much money his parents has. Although I would love to see him spend the rest of his life in prison. That is not a good trade-off for me or one of my loved ones to be killed to watch him go to prison. You have to study these races because when they carry out these attacks, they look at an anniversary of previous attacks. And I looked up some of the attacks on black people here in America that were committed in the month of May. May 26, 1637. Hundreds of Pequot villagers were massacred by the Puritans in Mystic, Connecticut. May 1st through the 3rd, 1866. White civilians and police killed 46 African Americans and injured many more while burning houses, schools, and churches in Memphis, Tennessee. May 30th, 1937. On Memorial Day, Chicago Police Department shot and killed 10 unarmed demonstrators in Chicago. May 13th, 1985. The Philadelphia Police Department dropped a C4 bomb on the home of the MOVE organization, killing 11 people, including 5 children, and wiping out half a city block. So those are just some of the attacks that were taken out against black people in the month of May by these white supremacists. And I don't like calling them white supremacists. That's why I just call them racist. Because there's nothing supreme about you guys. Reason why you have so much power is because you have the police and the courts on your side. Now, this is the home of this racist. Living good, parents have nice jobs, and you worrying about what black people have. You are a fool. You're worried about white people dying off. The fact of the matter is, sir, that you are killing yourselves off. Here's what one of the neighbors of this murderer had to say. Joseph Chirac. He was a shy kid. Looking at this picture of him as a child, he's not a shy kid. He's evil. He's mean. Look how he's looking at his brothers and sisters. Look how he doesn't even want his mother touching him. This guy showed early signs of having mental issues. And I'm quite sure his parents knew it, but like most parents, they protect their monster children. You can just look in the face of this guy and tell how he's distant and how he has a lot of anger and hatred in his heart. Maybe he's mad at his mother, because I see in that last picture, I just noticed how he was all up on his dad and was trying to pull away from his mother. You know, white guys like this, they claim that they hate black people so much, but you cannot give a legitimate reason as to why that you hate black people. You got money, you live your own life, you can pick and choose a white woman if you want to. So how is a black person stopping the birth rate of white people? It's not happening. It's just all in your mind. I thank God for people like John Brown, who's willing to take one for what's right, instead of people like Payton, who's willing to take one for what's wrong. You know, and these racists are really cowards. Instead of them coming into the teeth of the black community, they look out for little soft spots.